I never thought my life could change so drastically in an instant. Just yesterday, I was a successful businessman, a loving husband and father, and today I'm lying in a hospital with broken bones, not knowing if I will ever be able to walk again. The accident happened on the way to work. Some daredevil flew into the oncoming lane at high speed and rammed into my car. The impact was so severe that I was literally cut out of the crumpled metal. "Can you move your legs? Do you feel any touch?" the doctor asked, examining me after the surgery. I tried, but my body seemed to be filled with lead and refused to obey. Only one thought was pounding in my head. What will happen to my family now? My wife Catherine arrived at the hospital in tears. I tried to calm her down, told her that everything would be fine, but I hardly believed it myself. We were facing a long and expensive recovery, and I was the sole breadwinner. "Honey, don't worry, we'll handle everything. The main thing is for you to get better," Catherine said, kissing my hand. But by her reddened eyes, I could see how hard it was for her. Catherine had to take 2 jobs to provide for the family and pay for my treatment. She rushed between home, office, and hospital, hardly resting. I saw how exhausted she was, but there was nothing I could do to help. "Darling, I'm sorry I can't spend more time with you," Catherine apologized during rare visits. "The bosses don't give me time off, and the bills won't pay themselves." I felt ashamed and hurt to see my beloved wife wearing herself out because of me. I had promised her a heavenly life, and now I had become a burden. I wanted to scream from helplessness. "Honey, would you mind if my mom visits you sometimes? I'd feel more at ease knowing you're not alone," Catherine suggested one day. My mother-in-law Alice had always been kind to me, so I agreed. After all, what difference did it make who brightened up my hospital loneliness? As long as Catherine could catch her breath a little. So Alice began to visit me more often. She brought homemade food, books, helped with hygiene and massage. It was strange to feel her touch on my body, but I brushed off inappropriate thoughts. Alice's visits to the hospital became a breath of fresh air for me. With her, I could talk about anything in the world, from the latest news to life philosophy. We laughed, shared memories, and gradually got to know each other from a new side. "You know, Michael, I admire your optimism," Alice said once, adjusting my pillow. "Anyone else in your place would have given up long ago, but you keep fighting. It's all thanks to you and Catherine," I smiled. "If it weren't for your care, I'd be lost." Our eyes met, and I suddenly felt a strange excitement. For the first time, I noticed how beautiful Alice's eyes were, the dimples on her cheeks, her soft hands. I mentally scolded myself for these fantasies because she was my wife's mother after all. But the more time we spent together, the stronger the attraction grew. I found myself waiting for her arrival, missing her voice, her smile. And when Alice leaned over to adjust my IV, my heart would start pounding like crazy. This is all from lack of female attention and intimacy. Nothing more, I reassured myself. But deep down, I knew it wasn't just physiology. I was drawn to Alice like a magnet. After 3 months, I was finally discharged home. I still had trouble walking and needed constant care, so Alice offered to come over while Catherine was at work. My wife was only too happy to have help, and I felt like the last scoundrel because I was looking forward to these meetings. Alone, Alice and I continued to communicate as before, but now every glance, every accidental touch seemed to send an electric current through us. We were playing with fire, knowing it was wrong, but unable to stop. "Michael, what's happening between us?" "It's crazy, isn't it?" Alice asked one day, looking me in the eye. "Completely," I exhaled and pulled her to me. Our first kiss was desperate, greedy, as if we wanted to imprint it in our memory forever. It was followed by others, more tender, sensual, accompanied by caresses and quiet moans. We made love like obsessed, risking being caught at any moment. Passion clouded our minds, made us forget about everything in the world. "God, what are we doing?" "Poor Catherine," Alice whispered, getting dressed. "She must never find out." And I agreed with her. A scandal would ruin our family, and I couldn't let that happen. So we continued to meet in secret, catching moments of intimacy like thieves. Months passed, and my bond with Alice only grew stronger. We learned to artfully conceal our relationship, coming up with reasons to be alone. Catherine didn't notice anything, happy that her mother was helping me so much. "Honey, I'm so glad you and Mom have found common ground," my wife would say, kissing me before bed. "You're such a good boy, almost recovered." I would return the kiss and feel the guilt growing inside me. But then I would remember Alice's hot embraces, our frank conversations, and I couldn't bring myself to end this affair. Of course, there were moments when I was about to confess everything to my wife. To say that I had fallen in love with someone else, that I couldn't go on like this anymore. But at the sight of Catherine's tired, caring face, I cowardly kept silent. Maybe it will somehow resolve itself? The passion will pass, and everything will be as before, I thought faint-heartedly. However, time went on, and my feelings for Alice only intensified. And she didn't seem about to end our relationship either. We increasingly dreamed of a future together, made plans. "Darling, what do you think? Maybe we should leave. Start everything from scratch somewhere far away from here?" Alice asked once, snuggling up to me after another secret meeting. The offer was so tempting that for a moment I really wanted to drop everything, to run away with my beloved, leaving the past behind. But then I imagined the pain I would cause Catherine and our daughter. "No, honey, we can't do that," I replied with a heavy sigh. "We should probably stop this altogether before it's too late." Alice was silent for a long time, then nodded sadly. We both understood that we had reached a dead end. I would like to say that our story ended there, that Alice and I found the strength to give up our forbidden love and return to normal life. But to be honest, we just became more careful. Our dates now resembled spy operations. We learned to lie, to wriggle out of situations, to live a double life. And while Catherine worked tirelessly, we basked in each other's arms. Honestly, I no longer felt guilty. Only a slight regret that I had to deceive. But there are so many couples around where someone has a mistress, and the marriage is just a front. Why should we be an exception? The main thing is that Catherine still thinks we have the perfect family. And Alice and I continue to love and support each other, keeping our little secret. In the end, everyone is happy, right?